स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
जब आपने सेवा ज्वाइन की तो आप तो पंजाब के थे और आपको मिल गया वेस्ट बंगाल।
पंजाब से तो मैं था, लेकिन JNU में आ गया था, उसके बाद टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया में था। तो पूरे इंडिया को एक नज़र से देखने की जो एक होती है, दैट वाज ऑलवेज देयर। So I never felt parochial in that sense. So I'm a very proud Punjabi, but I'm not a butter chicken Punjabi. बंगाल से ज़्यादा मज़ेदार बात ये हुई कि जिस दिन पोस्टिंग ऑर्डर आया तो उस दिन पता लगा that I've been posted to a place called पुरुलिया। पुरुलिया का नाम मैंने पहले सुना नहीं था। पुरुलिया ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर जो है, that passes through पुरुलिया। तो मैंने कहा चलो that reminds me of Henry Miller's book, The Tropic of Cancer. The academy did not get directors by choice. In our time, and I was very keen. That was my dream job, So I got that dream job. In fact, all the directors from Mr. Uganda's time were people who wanted to.
And by the way, that was the only job that I wanted in my entire career at India.
So I have 50 on that.
After you were deputy director, then you joined Uttarakhand, if I understand. So what was the difference that you found in working in Uttarakhand as compared to West Bengal?
West Bengal, I had never worked in the secretariat before.
अच्छा।
West Bengal, I had only been a district officer.
उसके बाद डायरेक्टर बने LBSNA के much later. तो आपने क्या कोई विशेष चेंज लाने की कोशिश की?
I think that a lot of changes had already been done. The academy was running as a very smooth system.
आप जब आप रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं तो आप क्या समझते हैं कुछ ट्रेनिंग में परिवर्तन की आवश्यकता है जो आपके टाइम पे होती थी?
हमारे टाइम में जो ट्रेनिंग होती थी, I think that was too pedantic and too theoretic. The biggest problem that we face in our country, if there is a problem, and in fact there is a problem, that problem is that we don't know how to work in teams.
बातचीत के छठे एपिसोड में आपका स्वागत है। आज हमारे साथ हैं श्री संजीव चोपड़ा। ये वर्ष 1985 के IAS अधिकारी हैं, लेकिन सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि ये डायरेक्टर रहे हैं लाल बहादुर शास्त्री नेशनल एकेडमी ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, और डायरेक्टर से पहले भी वहाँ पे वो डिप्टी डायरेक्टर के रूप में रहे हैं। तो आज हम इनसे अनेक विषयों पर चर्चा करेंगे और साथ ही साथ ये भी जानने की चर्चा करेंगे, जब कोई अधिकारी सिविल सेवा में आता है और प्रमुख रूप से IAS में आता है तो उसकी जो ट्रेनिंग होती है लाल बहादुर शास्त्री नेशनल एकेडमी में, वो किस प्रकार से होती है। क्योंकि कई भ्रांतियाँ हैं इसके बारे में कि एकेडमी कैसी है। जो वहाँ नहीं गए हैं उनको अलग उनके बारे में जानकारी रखते हैं। तो आज हम उस व्यक्ति से जानकारी प्राप्त करने की कोशिश करेंगे जो वहाँ पे 2 बार रहा, एक बार डिप्टी डायरेक्टर, उसके बाद डायरेक्टर भी रहा। इसके अतिरिक्त श्री संजीव चोपड़ा एक लेखक भी हैं, उन्होंने 2 पुस्तकें लिखी हैं और ये वेस्ट बंगाल काडर के हैं। आपका स्वागत है संजीव।
बहुत धन्यवाद।
सबसे पहले तो आपसे जानना चाहेंगे, जब आपने सेवा ज्वाइन की तो आप तो पंजाब के थे और आपको मिल गया वेस्ट बंगाल, तो आपको शुरू में कैसा लगा वेस्ट बंगाल जाके?
देखिए, बंगाल तो पहली बार मैं पहले ही गया था, 82-83 में गया था जब मैं जर्नलिस्ट था टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया में। तो कलकत्ता जाने का तो मौका पहले भी लगा रहता था, लेकिन रूरल बंगाल देखने का मौका पहली बार लगा था। और क्योंकि काडर अलॉटमेंट 85 में चेंज हो गई थी, जो आपके समय में जो ऑप्शन था, व्यवस्था थी, वो चेंज हो गई थी। तो इट वाज अ रैंडम शॉट। तो ठीक है, वेस्ट बंगाल मिल गया, तो कोई ऐसी कोई मेजर प्रॉब्लम इस तरह की मुझे कभी नहीं थी, बिकॉज वन ऑलवेज वांटेड टू एक्सप्लोर द कंट्री। और हालांकि पंजाब से तो मैं था, लेकिन JNU में आ गया था, उसके बाद टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया में था। तो इस तरह की कोई फीलिंग नहीं थी कि पंजाब में ही होना चाहिए, ये होना चाहिए। ऑल्सो बिकॉज माई फादर वॉज इन BSF और कैंट में परवरिश हुई। तो पूरे इंडिया को एक नज़र से देखने की जो एक जो होती है, दैट वाज ऑलवेज देयर। So I never felt parochial in that sense. So I'm a very proud Punjabi, but I'm not a parochial Punjabi. I'm not a butter chicken Punjabi.
So आपको जब आप गए तो आपको वहाँ थोड़ा सा भिन्नता लगी होगी?
हाँ, मैं इनफैक्ट कल्चर थोड़ा सा जो बंगाल से ज़्यादा मज़ेदार बात ये हुई कि जिस दिन पोस्टिंग ऑर्डर आया तो उस दिन पता लगा that I've been posted to a place called पुरुलिया। पुरुलिया का नाम मैंने पहले सुना नहीं था। तो इमीडिएटली जब थोड़ा चेक किया तो पता लगा कि पुरुलिया ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर जो है, दैट पासेस थ्रू पुरुलिया। तो मैंने कहा चलो that reminds me of Henry Miller's book, The Tropic of Cancer. तो जो फेमिलियरिटी थी पुरुलिया की, दैट वाज थ्रू ट्रॉपिक ऑफ कैंसर। बट एक बार जब कोई भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट मिलता है, ये एक बड़ी यूनिक चीज़ है सर्विस में आने की, कि यू गेट टू अंडरस्टैंड सो मेनी थिंग। पुरुलिया जब मिला तो पुरुलिया का गेजेटियर देखा, स्टेट सेक्शन जो हमारी एकेडमी में है, तो उससे पता लगा कि पुरुलिया पहले मल्लभूम होता था, और तब पता लगा कि ये जो मल्लभूम था दिस वाज एक्चुअली मानभूम। तो ये जो एरिया जो वीर मान सिंह ने जो कैप्चर किया था, अकबर के जो जनरल थे, तो हुआ ये कि उनको एपिक स्केल मिल चुका था, क्योंकि जो नॉन रॉयल्टी के थे दे कुड ओनली रीच अ सर्टेन लेवल ऑफ मनसबदारी, तो उनको वो सब मिल चुका था। तो फिर बड़ी चर्चा हुई कि अब राजा मान सिंह को क्या दिया जाए, बिकॉज ही इज ऑलरेडी अचीव्ड वॉट एवर कुड हैव बीन अचीव्ड। तो फिर कहा गया कि चलो इस टेरिटरी को उनके नाम पे कर दिया जाए। तो ये पूरा बीर मान सिंह, दैट होल एरिया इज बीर मान सिंह, जो बीरभूम मानभूम सिंहभूम, ये जो एरिया अब जो झारखंड में है और जो बीरभूम डिस्ट्रिक्ट है और जो सिंहभूम है, तो दिस वाज ऑल द एरिया व्हिच वाज कैप्चर्ड बाय बीर मान सिंह।
वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग,
दैट्स हाउ यू नो द नेम केम। सो दैट गिव्स यू अ डिफरेंट फील अबाउट यू नो पुरुलिया। फिर पुरुलिया जब गए तो और अच्छा लगा उसमें, बट पुरुलिया वाज वेरी पॉवर्टी स्ट्रिकन। इनफैक्ट दिस इज व्हाट आई रोट, जब मैंने अभी जिम स्कॉट की किताब का रिव्यू किया था तो उसमें भी यही बताया था कि जब पहली बार पुरुलिया गया था तो मुझे लग रहा था कि दिस इज, ये जगह कैसे डेवलप हो पाएगी, कैसे इवॉल्व हो जाएगी। और 10 साल के अंदर द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ पुरुलिया हैज बीन फिनोमिनल। इनफैक्ट एज अ मेंबर ऑफ द आईएएस आई फील वेरी प्राउड ऑफ द फैक्ट कि कितने एरियाज को, देश की कितनी बड़ी संख्या को, कितनी बड़ी आबादी को, कितने बड़े एरिया को हमने एब्सोल्यूट पॉवर्टी से वी हैव टेकन देम आउट। नाउ नो डिनाइंग द फैक्ट दैट देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ पॉवर्टी इन द कंट्री, बट व्हेन यू कंपेयर, आई मीन यू एंड आई, व्हेन वी कंपेयर what poverty was in the mid 80s or early 80s, it's nowhere compared to that. So we've got the country out of absolute poverty. और अगर IAS का कोई एक सिंगुलर कंट्रीब्यूशन है तो ये है कि वी हैव टेकन द कंट्री आउट ऑफ एब्सोल्यूट पॉवर्टी।
करेक्ट। आप वेस्ट बंगाल से फिर उत्तराखंड में काम
ऐसा हुआ, मतलब वेस्ट बंगाल में भी बड़ा मज़ेदार हुआ कि आई हैव स्पेंट मोस्ट ऑफ माई टाइम इन नॉर्थ बंगाल। क्योंकि हुआ ये कि जब मैंने व्हेन आई वाज ड्यूरिंग आवर डिस्ट्रिक्ट ट्रेनिंग इटसेल्फ, तो सेटलमेंट ट्रेनिंग होती है हमारी अलीपुरद्वार में। तो वहाँ पे जब सेटलमेंट ट्रेनिंग हो रही थी तो जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट थे दार्जिलिंग के, वो आए और कहा कि भाई कौन कौन आना चाहता है दार्जिलिंग डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, बिकॉज पीपल वर लीविंग दार्जिलिंग बिकॉज ऑफ द वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग जीएनएलएफ फैक्टर। हमने कहा चलो चलते हैं दार्जिलिंग। तो आई ऑप्टेड टू गो टू दार्जिलिंग व्हेन आई वाज एन असिस्टेंट। सो माय असिस्टेंट मजिस्ट्रेटशिप वाज इन पुरुलिया एंड इन दार्जिलिंग।
ओके।
एंड when I was BDO Kalimpong and SDO Kalimpong, that was my first posting.
Beautiful place.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful places. And usse, I mean, such historical places, because Kalimpong, Darjeeling, Sikkim, these were all Bhutia territories, Lepcha territories, taken over by Bhutias. And then, Tibet claimed these areas. In fact, Tibet did not recognize India in 1947. When we wanted to recognize Tibet, Tibet said, no, we don't recognize you unless you say कि Sikkim, Kalimpong, ये हुआ। फिर इनफैक्ट सो सिक्किम हैज़ Kalimpong has a very fascinating history, और Kalimpong में the Queen Mother of Bhutan used to stay there, so we had developed a lot of respect for her. जो पहले जो चीफ मिनिस्टर थे सिक्किम के, गाजी लेंदुप दोरजी, वो भी Kalimpong में रहते थे। then there used to be ताशी पिम्पा हिशे, जो बड़े पुराने टिबेटन ट्रेडर्स थे। तो Kalimpong used to be called the nest of spies because that was the last trade outpost, because जब सिक्किम was not integrated with India, तो Kalimpong used to be the last outpost. So it was a fascinating story. फिर कैसे उसके अंदर वो गोरखालैंड एजिटेशन हुआ, फिर कैसे उसको टैकल किया। फिर जब ये सेटलमेंट हुई तो फिर घीशिंग जी ने कहा कि इन सबको निकालो यहाँ से। तो then I got posted to a place called Ghatal, which was also the first time I'd heard that name, Ghatal.
Okay. नहीं, हम ये जानना चाह रहे हैं क्योंकि वेस्ट बंगाल का कल्चर बिल्कुल अलग। फिर आप
वेस्ट बंगाल में एक्चुअली 2 कल्चर्स हैं।
अच्छा।
2 या 3 कल्चर है एक्चुअली। एक तो था वेस्ट बंगाल में, यू सी, till 2011 it was a solid CPM dominated thing, and within the way West Bengal was governed was कि एक अलायंस था CPM का 14 पार्टीज के साथ। कोर CPM के एरियाज थे हावड़ा, मिदनापुर, हुगली, all these places, they were core CPM. Then there were areas like Malda, Murshidabad, जहाँ पे CPM का होल्ड था लेकिन थोड़ा tenuous था, because Congress was also very powerful and the alliance partners were very strong. RSP, Forward Bloc, they were very strong. North Bengal में CPM का होल्ड और भी कम था, because जैसे कूच बिहार था, वहाँ Forward Bloc was very significant. Kamal Guha's Forward Bloc was very significant. And Darjeeling area में तो CPM was very different. So those of us who served most of our career in North Bengal, have a different opinion about how the state was run.
Not
than
as
those-
leftist.
No, I would say not as leftist. I would say that this role of the CPM was not so dominant.
Correct.
Whereas those of our colleagues who were in and around Calcutta, उनपे तो बहुत मतलब the Sabhadipati of the CPM was a very, very influential person. Not so much in Murshidabad, not so much in Cooch Behar, and it had no influence in Darjeeling at all.
Okay, so the
Because-
point that I want to understand from you is you left West Bengal, or so to say, went on deputation to Uttarakhand. So how was it different from West Bengal?
Oh, the academy's culture is very, very different. I mean, the academy's culture is different from all states. In fact, academy का culture तो UBA culture से भी तो बहुत distinct है. आप थोड़ी कह सकते हैं because academy
So
was
academy
located-
में आप पहले डिप्टी डायरेक्टर के रूप में
academy
रहे.
में मैं असल में एक जो झगड़े होते रहते हैं हम सबके मंत्रियों के साथ, तो एक झगड़ा हुआ, छोटा सा झगड़ा हुआ, तो खैर उसके बाद में डॉक्टर सक्सेना वाज देयर इन द एकेडमी, ही सेड वुड यू लाइक टू कम, आई सेड श्योर, व्हाई नॉट. तो फिर आई मूव टू द एकेडमी जस्ट
तो आपका इनिशियल अनुभव क्या था वहाँ पे जब आपका
एकेडमी में?
वंडरफुल.
What a lovely academic atmosphere.
Had academy changed since you were yourself a professional?
Yes, completely. देखिए, एक चीज़ मैं बताना चाहूँगा कि academy का lowest point in retrospect I think was after Mr. Appu resigned. Because when Mr. Appu resigned, you know, that was the lowest point in the academy, because director academy resign कर रहे हैं और फिर follow up action बहुत lackadaisical है. उसके बाद में I don't think there were anybody who was very keen to join the academy.
Just for the sake of information, I was a probationer there when Mr. Appu resigned. So at the lowest point.
So after Mr. Appu left, and then till Mr. Yugandhar came, the academy did not get directors by choice.
Okay.
I think nobody was very keen to become the director of the academy. Unlike in our time, and I was very keen. That was my dream job, you know. So I got that dream job. मेरे से पहले Upma also wanted to be there. Rajiv also wanted to be there. Padamveer Singh ji wanted to be there. So in fact, all the directors from Mr. Yugandhar's time were people who wanted to be there.
And by the way, that was the only job that I wanted in my entire career. I didn't.
So I have 50 on that.
So बताइए आपका जो डिप्टी डायरेक्टर के रूप में आपने.
डिप्टी डायरेक्टर में तो एक तो द एटमॉस्फेयर हैड चेंज्ड सो मच बिकॉज इट वाज अ वेरी ओपन फ्रेंडली. यू सी, हमारे टाइम में, एटलीस्ट इन माय टाइम, and with the exception of Mr. Keshav Desi Raju and Mr. Julius Sen, many deputy directors from the IAS were perhaps not very eager to be there. And that reflects. But when I joined as the deputy director, everybody was there by choice.
Oh.
There was not one person who was not there by choice. You know, Padamveer Singh was there, Rajiv Kapoor was there, and everybody, Santosh Mathew was there. You know, with Michael Shiromani was there, Subbu, who's now in the Niti Aayog, he was there, Mathur was there, and Yadu Mathur was there. And no, everybody, whoever was there by choice. And when you are there, both the Joshis were there, you know.
Okay.
And therefore, you know, the whole atmosphere was one
just for the sake of the audience that is watching here, would you describe a daily routine of a probationer in the academy?
I think I'll describe the daily routine of a deputy director. We had to get up. We had to get up, and one of us, I mean the course director and the course team would be there, either horse riding or PT or one of the activities. So the whole idea was that you do not get the officer trainees to do what you are not willing to do.
Correct.
So and that is, I think, the one fundamental difference which the academy has always done. अगर जो काम OT कर रहा है वही काम आप भी करेंगे, तभी तो बात बनती है. अगर आप ऑफिसर ट्रेनी को बोल रहे हैं कि उठो भाई 5:30 बजे PT करो, तो you should be ready to do PT. If you are saying कि go for a weekend trek, then one faculty member, 2 faculty members should be there to do trekking with him. अगर हम कह रहे हैं horse riding करो, तो you also, हबीबुल्ला साहब तो खुद horse riding करते हैं. So you know that whole aspect. And after that, of course, after that 1 or 2 hours, then you have your classes, basically 9 to 3:30, 4, you know, you have your classes. And then evening again, we have some module or the other, whether it is public speaking or it is, rock climbing, it could be social services, it could be dramatics, it could be theatre, it could be house journal, it could be shooting. So the whole idea is to draw the person out उसको उसके अंदर जो लेटेंट उसकी जो पोटेंशियल है उसको बाहर निकालना। दे आर डूइंग प्लेस, हम भी प्लेस करते थे, अब फैकल्टी भी तो प्ले करती थी, वो प्ले करते थे, हम भी। होल आइडिया इज टू डेवलप अ सेंस ऑफ फीलिंग दैट वी आर ऑल नाउ अ न्यू फैमिली, दिस इज द न्यू फैमिली। ये कई बार कहा जाता है कि अब हमारी एक नया परिवार है, दैट इज द फैमिली ऑफ गवर्नेंस, और रादर द फैमिली ऑफ गुड गवर्नेंस, बिकॉज गवर्नेंस कैन बी good or bad, but you and I both believe in good governance. So the family of good governance, where what matters most is the rule of law. What matters most is adherence to the values of the Constitution. What matters most is professional ethics. And professional ethics is very clear. You and I know what professional ethics is, and that's what we try to inculcate.
So after you were deputy director, then you joined Uttarakhand, if I understand correctly.
Actually क्या हुआ कि जब मैं वहाँ था तभी उत्तराखंड बना। Uttarakhand was made, I was there from 95 to 2002, early 2002, and Uttarakhand was made in 2000, and nobody from UP wanted to come to Uttarakhand. I mean, and so एक दिन हमारे डायरेक्टर जो थे हबीबुल्ला साहब, उनके बैचमेट थे तब, AV Singh, he was the chief secretary, so I had gone with our director to call on the chief secretary, and he said, why don't you join Uttarakhand? So I looked for a moment. He says कि जब वेस्ट बंगाल जाओगे तो तुम्हारा तो अभी जाके you will only become joint secretary or special secretary. Here you come and we'll make you secretary of 3 departments. So in any case, I wanted to. I mean, Uttarakhand is much closer to Punjab, and we were quite comfortable. Children were studying in schools in Mussoorie. So and गवर्नमेंट ने तब ये ऑफर दिया था तीनों स्टेट्स के लिए, उत्तराखंड, झारखंड और छत्तीसगढ़ के लिए, कि जो भी officers 6 to 16 years of service के हैं, if they wanted to come to these states on deputation, then they could. So that's how I applied.
What was the difference that you found working in Uttarakhand as compared to West Bengal?
West Bengal, I had never worked in the secretariat before that.
Achha.
West Bengal, I had only been a district officer.
Okay.
And there's a lot of difference between district officers throughout the country are almost the same, because district officers are I mean different.
Tradition है इसका.
उसका एक tradition है, और secretariat functioning. But this was, Uttarakhand was a fantastic opening, because secretariat था ही नहीं. Boss हमारे थे Dr. R.S. Tolia, the legendary R.S. Tolia, Forest and Rural Development. उनका कमरा मेरे बिल्कुल ऊपर होता था. His room was above my room, and he was a doer. I mean, not a doer he was. He would say, but just do it, And दो OSDs थे rural development में मेरे साथ, और we used to run the whole so it was so we didn't have that structure of section officer, then assistant secretary, then this, then that. I mean, as secretaries we sometimes, because चिट्ठियाँ जब आती थी भारत सरकार से, they would go to the OSDs, there were project management cells. In fact बड़ी कोशिश की थी हमने उत्तराखंड में to have a new type of administration which will not be so secretariat driven. But secretariat has developed its own
dynamics or
own
statics.
Dynamics. मतलब उसका अब नहीं है, मतलब उसको कोई लेना देना नहीं. Outcome से, I mean, the secretariat is so process driven. It is so process driven.
Correct.
कि outcome से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. I mean, whatever it doesn't matter whether the outcome is good or bad, the procedure must be followed. And I think that is what Dr. Tolia was trying to change. He tried to change, but I think the vested interests are such that, again, Uttarakhand is again beginning to follow the same pattern.
तो जब आप उसके बाद डायरेक्टर बने LBSNA के much later, तो आपने क्या कोई विशेष चेंज लाने की कोशिश की वहाँ अकेडमी में?
I don't believe in. I think that a lot of changes had already been brought about. I'll give a lot of credit to Upma and Rajiv and उनसे पहले Padamveer Singh जी. But academy was running as a very smooth system. I mean, and academy में ना देखिए, everything is very very. I mean, the leadership in the academy is very different, because you're running courses. So course director जो है, या course coordinator जिसको हम बोलते हैं, he's an auto. I mean, he has to be good. The course is his. So you are there to sort of, give, friendly advice, to have an academic council meeting to discuss what courses are to be done. But mostly because syllabus is laid down, the patterns have evolved over the years, and each course coordinator wants to bring in some own.
आप जब आप रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं, तो आप क्या समझते हैं कुछ ट्रेनिंग में परिवर्तन की आवश्यकता है जो आपके टाइम पे होती थी? सिविल सर्वेंट्स?
हमारे टाइम में जो ट्रेनिंग होती थी, आई थिंक दैट वाज टू पेडांटिक एंड टू थ्योरेटिकल,
ओके।
यू नो, एंड केस स्टडीज भी जो बनाते थे उसमें यही था कि आप अकेले आईएएस अधिकारी हैं जिले में, और आप ही को सब ठीक करना है. आई थिंक दैट वाज रॉन्ग बिकॉज यू हैव टू वर्क इन अ टीम. सो आई थिंक दैट इज द फोकस दैट वी आर ट्राइंग टू ब्रिंग इन टुडे, एंड इट मस्ट इंक्रीज इवन फर्दर. आई मीन थ्योरेटिकल स्टडीज, आई मीन जो क्लासरूम जो हम कराते हैं, लॉ, मैनेजमेंट, इकोनॉमिक्स, आई थिंक ऑल दैट वी वर trying to put it on to the IGOT, you know, so that it can be done. It can be curated learning. That can be done. I think the time in the classroom has to be spent on team building.
Correct.
The biggest problem that we face in our country, if there is a problem, and in fact there is a problem, that problem is that we don't know how to work in teams. And we need to work in teams. You know, the team has to be people with diverse backgrounds. Unless you have people with diverse backgrounds coming together, different professional skills, we won't be able to achieve anything. And that's what is happening. हमारा जो टीम वर्क का कॉन्सेप्ट भी जो हो गया है कि मैं बॉस और मेरे सब, यू नो, द एबिलिटी टू टेक डिसेंट, the ability to give the other person the chance to do. So I think that is, I would in fact put about 60 to 70% of the thing on team building, you know, communication skills.
I totally agree.
And communication skills. Because इतनी information है, जो लोग अब UPSC क्रैक करके आते हैं उनके पास information का तो कोई अभाव नहीं है. Many of them also know how to put that information in a written format well. But how do you communicate? Effectively communicate, and sometimes you have to be silent.
That's also
silence is also communication. I mean, you go to an accident site, you know, accident has taken place. I mean, what is there for you to convey? I mean, what is there for you to convey? You just have to...
So that brings me to another point, which is now a hot topic about social media. How social media is being used, should be used.
Okay, now let's, you know, there are two aspects to this. One is that there is some situations would demand communication. Some situations demand communication. Some positions demand communication. But all situations and all positions do not demand communication. I mean, a routine meeting, the district plan, they do not require. But in terms of crisis, in terms of situation, there are certain positions. I mean, if you are the Kumbh Mela Adhikari, for example, then you need to be able to communicate कि क्या हो रहा है, क्या arrangements किए गए हैं. So certainly, as long as you are the Kumbh Mela Adhikari, the focus has to be on the Kumbh Mela Adhikari.
Correct.
Not on Anil Swarup.
Correct.
Or for that matter, whoever that person is. You see, when you are heading a PIDA, you know, we needed to communicate. We need to tell the world what our plans are, what our policies are. So a PIDA needs a communication channel. Anil Swarup may or may not need a communication.
That's where the problem is.
The point is that when Anil Swarup creates his channel, that is a problem. But a PIDA must have a channel because you're trying to communicate something. I mean, the heads of a lot of our institutions, they need to be on social media, but not as persons. So I think that is where I would like to make a clear distinction between social media being reflecting certain situations.
The organization, the department rather than the individual.
Than the individual, and some information has to be. अब जैसे अब वैष्णो देवी यात्रा है. I mean, if there is a good social media which can tell you कि भाई कितने लोग आ सकते हैं, कि जब take 4 धाम in Uttarakhand. I mean, he must be able to communicate to the people that this is the upper limit of people who can go to Badrinath every day, who can go to Kedarnath every day. You know, these are the possibilities. This is how you should take care of your... If you are not feeling well, don't come. You know, these are all things which must be done. But it should not be used to make, you know, to sort of...
Okay, so social media is indeed a very powerful tool, but it's a double-edged weapon.
Double-edged weapon.
One has to be very careful in using it. And as I would look at it, it is more of information dissemination than your own personal publicity that has to be understood very clearly. One more point before I let you go is with regard to the selection process that we have, the UPSC selection process. I read somewhere that you were of the view...
let me explain my views. My views are the following. One, my view was that the prelims exam should have a validity of 2 years, if not 3 years. So that, you know, once you have done this, once you've cleared this mains exam, then you can focus completely on the mains for the next 2 to 3 years, right? So that, you know, if you clear your prelims twice, you actually get 4 attempts. And I have therefore recommended that for general candidates, there can be 2 attempts in the prelims, you know, so that if you are successful, you actually get 4 attempts in the mains. And if you do not clear it, then probably there is another track that is waiting for you. And we can make it 3 attempts for the OBCs and the SC/STs, depending on the various status. And then I've also suggested that, you know, some additional papers may be added for those who want to join the IAS. those who want to join the police and related services, and those who want to join the financial, accounting, and other services, because and of course the foreigners, because the skill set would be very different. So for people who are wanting to join the IAS, it's better to have more papers on policy, on public policy, on bureaucracy, structure of bureaucracy, structural, functional aspects, aspects of state, all the classics from, Kautilya's Arthashastra to Machiavelli's Prince, to Lao Tzu. I mean, so he should understand what the nature of the state is. Likewise, for diplomacy, it is better that he's read, the history of the world, and he's interested in, world polity, world policy, things of the sort. He should be a student of strategic studies. For those who are wanting to join the police, let them read about, more about law, more about national security issues, more about those issues. Those who are into finance, they should understand the budget better. So what will happen is that when you end up in one of these services, you will know why you are there, and let nobody apply, not let nobody have more than two options.
Yeah.
So that you don't end up in
an accidental officer.
That accidental officer thing will not happen. These are thoughts, because at the end of the day, and I think the time has come where, one of the problems with lateral entry, I think, is why do we have to call them joint secretaries? We can call them by some other name.
Yeah.
We must have we must have information, we must have talent enter the government, but it's a distinct talent. Now, the problem is that you can't have lateral. I mean, if you want to have people in the agriculture ministry advising you about logistics, advising you about cold chain, or in the PIDA advising you about, international trade, tariff, various things, we can call them advisors. We can call them,
whatever.
Whatever. We can call them, not whatever, but anything but whatever. So the point is that the problem comes when you call a person joint, because a joint secretary, by the very nature, is somebody who's put in 15 to 20 years service within the system. He's a hard-boiled egg within the system. Now, you should let that be the same.
We'll come to lateral entry, but I would like to discuss with you the mention that you made in one of your articles regarding paper on ethics, because that's a very critical issue. And my personal view is that by writing a paper, you don't become ethical.
Absolutely.
But what is your point of view on it?
The same thing. As you see, the systems have to be, I said systems have to be foolproof. I mean, and I've always given the example of the procurement in Amul vis-a-vis the procurement in NEFED and FCI. I have been the MD of NEFED, so I have no hesitation in admitting that, look, there are structures, because unless you have grading sorting machines, unless you have weighbridges, unless you have assaying systems which are of the third party, this problem will always be there. Now, the problem is not that people get tempted. The problem is, why is the temptation there? So you can either... are we creating the right atmosphere? That is very important.
Okay, one more point. I have come to believe that the fundamental trait of an IAS officer is being a leader. And to my understanding, neither in the written exam or in the interviews is this trait even tested.
It cannot be tested.
It cannot be tested.
It cannot be tested. Fortunately, I've also been through the SSBs. I mean, I've also been through the army selection. Fortunately, I was... the SSB found me competent to be an army officer also. But there also what I realized was, that even if you do a 5-day orientation, you can capture some traits. But it will be impossible for us to do a 5-day SSB type thing. Although the SSB selection, by and large, is very good, because, in the SSB process itself, you discover a lot about yourself. But replicating it over such a large number, because our numbers are too large.
As you had mentioned earlier, that there could be a separate exam for the IAS.
What I meant was that what I had suggested was that the same exam should have additional papers for the IAS, additional papers for the IPS, so that these different groups of services would have separate types of exam. That has been my thought so far.
Okay, now finally, one more. There's been a lot of problem with the coaching centers here. What is your view on coaching for...
You see, the issue about coaching depends on who is doing it and what is the intent.
Okay.
You see, in one of my articles, I've written that from the ATI of Calcutta to the SGPC in Amritsar to the Sankalp Academy to the Hamdard Academy, to the Jamia Millia. I mean, there are so many institutes which are doing it. So, I mean, there are institutes which are doing it because they want to do it, because there is the motive is very different. And there are institutes which are doing it which are purely commercial motive. So, I would think that we have to go to the motive. We have to go to the motive. We have to go into that aspect rather than saying that all coaching institutes are good or all coaching institutes are bad. And there are people, at least, I mean, some of us have been fortunate to make it without a formal coaching, but those days were different. Let's put it like this, that those days were quite different, I mean, things were much easier. I would say things were much easier because...
Thank you very much, Sanjeev. Pleasure talking to you. God bless you.
Always.
Thank you.